Hello everybody and welcome back to another exciting edition of Boy Curious, the show in which I, Matt, the Gameboy, look at bootlegs, oddities and homebrew for everyone's favourite gaming handheld. This week we'll be looking at a Swedish effort called Rope and Bombs. As I grow older, I think of my consumption of video games as a medium in what I'd like to call the WECID crisis. What else could I do? With so many great other mediums to consume, not to mention creating bits on the side, my non-Game Boy related adventures in video gaming are at an all-time low, mainly due to one recent revelation. The medium of video games is one that I believe teaches us problem solving, hand-eye coordination, and the escapism it provides, to me at least, is akin to meditation. That being said though, I find myself with this wicked problem that I feel that I should be doing something else while playing most video games. It isn't a social thing, it's just that I feel the more I play games, the less variety I see in the storytelling and mechanics displayed in them. It's not to say that the likes of Breath of the Wild or Nier Automata don't come along and blow my socks off every once in a while. But rarely do I feel that I've learned something I can take out of the gaming experience and apply in the outside world. I do think, however, such a useful life lesson can be found in Team Lampoil's Rope and Bombs, a relatively simple puzzle game released last year at Retrospelfestivalen in Malmö, Sweden. Martin, the game's programmer, sent me a copy of the game's physical release to cover on the channel, and I decided to tuck into it. The concept behind Rope and Bombs is a simple one. Casual arsonist Dynamite finds herself with a ton of bombs and fuses being delivered to her home after an evening of regretful ordering. It's the player's job to help Dinah tie the ropes together so she can light the fuses to burn them up. It's a cute premise to a straightforward little puzzle game, right? The game is parts Pipe Mania and Tetris. Ropes and bombs fall in various two-tile combinations that can be rotated clockwise with A and counterclockwise with B. Unlike Tetris though, blocks cannot hang over negative spaces and will instead drop to sit on the nearest block below them, applying the laws of gravity. The size of the blocks and the edges of the playing field itself also limit the turning of the tiles, so be careful how far you let pieces drop before deciding their orientation. Because as with most games like this, placement is everything. As I mentioned in the setup, the game revolves around you creating paths out of rope and bombs. You want to chain as many rope pieces together as you can in order to clear the board as quickly as possible. At random points, Dinah will drop a flame that will allow you to clear the board, and in doing so, score points. Flame tiles will act slightly differently from the regular ropes of the bombs, however, in that gravity doesn't apply to them. This means one thing, dear gamer: keep an exposed rope pointed upwards at all times, and you'll generally be able to save yourself, even in the most dire of circumstances. Generally speaking, burnt ropes are worth 1 point and a bomb is worth 2, though by chaining longer tethers of rope together, flames can burn the rope a second time and double your points, which encourages a little bit of risk-reward. Bombs naturally also explode, meaning they can clear out unwanted tiles stacked around them. You can also be smart about this and chain bombs together by keeping them at close proximity to one another and clearing house a lot quicker as a result. As you play for longer though, the level of difficulty increases, not only in the way of faster falling pieces, but in less flames and in tiles that just simply don't play nice. A straight piece of rope going into a negative corner, for example, that unless you've laid your ropes in such a specific way to allow for it, is probably going to be more of an obstruction than a useful piece. Meaning you will either need a little help from gravity to drop a piece over the edge, stick it near a bomb, or begin to think ahead and plan for the next round. Only problem with this is though, due to the game's random nature, you're not guaranteed that any of these plans will work. Thus, we stumble upon the valuable life lesson that rope and bombs can teach us, even though I'm sure it never intended to. Rope and Bombs, much like life, is all about taking the pieces you're given and doing the best you can with them. But eventually, no matter how good you think you are or have planned, you will make a mistake. It's then all about how you manage to control the mistake you've made. Do you make contingencies to correct it later, or do you simply admit defeat? You'll find in the lower levels, it's easy to save yourself, but as the pressure mounts, you can just dig yourself further in. Thus, the life lesson of Rope and Bombs is everyone makes mistakes. It's how you deal with them, even against great odds, that separates the winners from losers. Apart from this philosophy, however, Rope and Bombs is a case of what you see is what you get. The game is limited to the one game mode. There are no end states like the Tetris rocket launch to show you've beaten the game, just the challenge of a higher score and the pride of avoiding this screen for as long as possible. The game will change up its music every few stages to let you know you're progressing up a level, but this will stop at the 15th stage according to Martin, as heaven knows, I didn't get there myself. The game is also, as you will already have gleamed, technically a black card title, in that it works on both a DMG and Pocket in black and white, as well as colour and on the Super Game Boy, which is a nice touch. Graphically, as you'll see, the game isn't going to blow your socks off because of its simple concept. I will give Team Lampoil credit though, as Dinah's sprite is incredibly expressive and has perhaps the cutest pause screen I've seen in a long time. It's worth noting that while the game was, as mentioned, programmed by Martin Arnbaum, Gunaway Bull provided the game's in-game and packaging artwork, as well as its music, which for me is a real highlight in this title. If Tetris taught Team Lampoil anything, it's that providing a piece of music that isn't going to drive you crazy after 20 minutes of playing it is essential to a solid puzzle game experience. Fortunately, as I've already mentioned, the game cycles through a few of these themes that are, to me at least, all of a very high standard. For those lucky enough to have attended Retrospel Festivalen, a physical box is also a fun nod to the system's history. Naturally, as a Swedish game, the cart and box are both SCN coded, and thankfully for us foreigners, the back of the box is in Swedish and English. The game's manual is just a printed out piece of A4 paper, solely in Swedish, that fortunately I managed to get through thanks to my knowledge of Danish. But trust me, non-Scandinavian speakers, you'll be fine without it. That's all well and good, Matt, but where can I get one? Well, if you head over to their website, teamlampoil.se, you can download the ROM of this game and give it a go right now. The team is also looking at potentially making some more physical releases of the game, but all of that info can be found on their site. As I usually am, I'm confident that just through watching this video, you'll know if you're into Rope and Bombs or not. It's a fun little puzzle game that, in the true Game Boy spirit, will keep you entertained on any travels. Especially if competing for a high score, the game has a lot of charm in its music and sprite work, as well as a high degree of competency in its programming. The game doesn't tear, as, well, there's not really much going on. Unfortunately, some may find that also true of the gameplay. While Random Chance offers replayability, with only one game mode and no end state, unless you've fallen in love with the title, it's likely to be one you play for a short while and feel satisfied with. Either way, be sure to check out the ROM of Rope and Bombs and let me know what you think. And that brings us to the end of another Boy Curious video, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you've enjoyed. Thanks, Martin from Team Lampoil, for sending this out for me to try. And if you've given it a go yourself, let me know down in the comments below. Until next week, though, Game Boys and Girls, will be back with a regular Boyographic. Game on.